Just about a year ago, January 1, we were here having a conversation about furlough days for the government workers. I stand before you today as the president of the Bermuda Industrial Union. With over 70 years of history in this country representing the rights of working class people in Bermuda. Recognizing that today is not easy. And the reason I say that because I don't want people to think that we took lightly to get to this position we got to today. And the reason I say that to you is because for at least the better part of 15 months or so, we have heard the cry, can we have a vote of no confidence? Can we have an island-wide shutdown? Because the government is not listening. And what I find interesting is that the Premier of the country, on many different occasions, particularly a few times on Monday evening in the House of Assembly, he continues to say that the government is listening to the people. And I say this with the utmost respect, how could you be listening when you continue to go on and continue with your agenda? It tells me you're listening, but you're not hearing. Big difference. And I'll say that to the Premier of the country, that you're listening, but apparently you're not hearing to what the people are saying. When you have a situation where you do a national poll, and the national poll says that 75% of the people don't want the airport project, but you continue on with the airport project, but yet we're listening to the people. Let me use this timeline for you. Normally you would start from a date and come to current date. I'm going to go and reverse today. I'm going to start from yesterday and go backwards. And the reason for that is because the government says they're listening to the people. On Wednesday, when Brother Jason and I decided to go and see Minister Faye as the Minister for Home Affairs, recognizing that tensions in the country is getting higher and higher and higher. The frustrations are getting higher and higher and higher. And as a result of that, as two leaders of the two largest trade unions in the island, and also as citizens, we decided to go and see if we can have a conversation with the minister. Now, be it as it may, a lot of people say, well, you're going to waste your time. But guess what? Even though it might end up being a waste of time, no one would have accused this organization, I'm speaking for the BIU now, of not at least reaching out and trying to reach some kind of resolution before the whole country goes into chaos. That's about responsible leadership, not irresponsible leadership, and make sure we're listening to the people. So I was saying to the two ministers, and I'll give their names. Since I put that press statement out there, let's give their names. Minister Faye and Minister Moniz. When we tell you the people are crying out, and all they tell us is, well, the PLP this and the PLP that. Respectfully, this is not about the PLP. This is not about the LBA. It's about the people in the country. So it's much bigger than those 36 MPs that have been elected by the people to serve the people. They're not serving the people because they're playing tit for tat with our lives. When you heard the Premier of the country on Monday night, if you didn't hear, let me just repeat what the Premier of the country said, what the Deputy Premier said, and also what Bob Richards said. When we were in the opposition, we were told by the PLP, the opposition will have its say, but the government will have its way. Really? Where does that leave us? Where does that leave the people of Bermuda if they're going to be out there playing those kind of games? And the reason why I say that they're playing these kind of games, why? You would know, if you didn't pay attention, that the PLP took a motion to the floor in the House of Assembly on Monday to try to get the government to agree to bipartisan comprehensive immigration reform. I'm not going to go through the hill what on Monday, but let me summarize for you. When you have the leader of the country get up and say, well, you know what? The leader of the opposition say that there's going to be no collaboration. Not whatsoever. So as a result of that, we're not hearing what they're saying. Forget about the people. Now it's about the PLP and the ODA. Really. Once again, we're not sending you us. This is no game. What we said to the ministers when we was having a conversation there is the people are crying out for you to take this piece of legislation and take it off the table. Yes. When we look at this whole question of, there are three questions that need to be asked. Three. Do you really care about all the people of Bermuda having a say on this issue? First point. Second point. Have you consulted before the stakeholders in Bermuda on the Immigration and Protection Act 2016? Final point. Did the consultation before stakeholders meet the legal standard of consultation in Bermuda? Massive. Because if you say you're elected to govern on behalf of the people, then that's enough. That's our point. Consultation as it relates to the legal standard, as it relates to consultation in Bermuda. That's a serious indictment against the government that they've broken the law. You can't have a situation where the government's going to decide, well, I'm going to have consultation on this, but I'm not going to have consultation on that. So there's no consistency that they decide what they're going to do when they're going to do it. Let me just remind you also about what happened about 3 or 4 weeks ago, maybe a month or so now. On February 4th, 2016, there was a by-election held in constituency number 13, February 4th. Let me just remind you what happened the very next day after that by-election. Minister Fay came out and announced pathways to study on February 5th, 2016. The very next day after, the people in the country sent the government a clear message, we are tired. And the people in the country the next day, on the Friday, talked about Friday morning quarterback. Oh, really? Think about what happened also on February 17th. For those of you who didn't see, the world was at. The headline, OBA, committing political suicide. That's from inside third party. Why on earth would you introduce a bill about or pathways to justice the day after a by-election? So it's not just us that thinks that they haven't had a proper consultation about it. It was the timing of making sure that if you're going to put something on the table, that everything has taken place. So the call when the BIU General Council had met on Tuesday, and we met again last night, and we didn't leave her till about 11 o'clock last night. And I do apologize to Bermuda right now. I'm saying I'm apologizing to Bermuda, not just our members. Because the press release should have went out about 11 o'clock last night. And it didn't go, but it went first thing this morning. And all that press statement is going to say in a nutshell is that on behalf of the General Council of the BIU, we are calling on all the people in Bermuda to withdraw their labor in protest on Friday, March 11, 2016, in response to the recent statement by the Premier, the Honorable Michael Dunkley, which states the government proposes that the bill will be debated in this session, should be passed, and the implementation date will happen later on this summer. A second reading by the Immigration and Protection Act 2016. Now, interesting because how things happen. Yesterday I was speaking to an MP, because normally they give you advance notice as to what is going to be on the order paper. He told us that the bill was not going to be on the order paper. That's what he told us. Okay? He said, well, they might change it, but for now, it's on the other paper. Well, when I got home 11:15 last night, I made sure I stayed up and watched the midnight news. And unless the person that was reading the news made a mistake, she clearly said that the bill is on the order paper for today. So who's playing some kind of game? As I said, this is no game. It's time for the government to once and all, listen to the will of the people. The call has been made, and this is not, let's just be clear. You're going to hear this on more than one occasion. This is not, absolutely not a labor issue. This is a political issue in relationship to your constitutional right as it relates to Section 10 of the Constitution. A freedom of your right to peaceful assembly, peaceful protest, as relates to Section 10 of the Constitution. Now, there is some people who come and say, well, you're not working today, so you're breaking the law. Let me just remind them, that we think we're in another world sometimes and we forget we're in the world. Because I don't know whether you've noticed it, but I've seen protests all around the world for the last 25 years. People demonstrate, upset. But somehow we think Bermuda's immune that we shouldn't have protests. And I got it. People are tired of marching. I got that. We got it. So we made the call today for a one-day shutdown. People's campaign called also for the island to be shut down. You honestly think that the People's Campaign and the BRU wanted to make a call like that? Really? I gave the Minister of Home Affairs an example yesterday, and I'm not sure how he analyzed it. But the two examples I gave, I actually gave him two. The first one was that you got a bill that you're bringing for public transportation and marine ports last year, or 2014, our time's been on pretty good. And to make those two industries an essential service. BRU protested, and he pulled back the bill. You got a bill now for pathways established, and what the minister is saying, and this is where I got a little bit away, really far away from, because you're concerned about one, two, or a handful of cases that might be in the courts because people are concerned about their right to status or whatever it is. That's a half a dozen people. What about the thousands of people that are concerned about what you did? You're not worried about us? So it's more important that you take care of that handful as opposed to take care of the people that elected you to govern. Really? So enough, as I said on Labor Day, enough is enough. We've done what we can to try to get them to come to their senses. As they said, yeah, we met on Wednesday and we met again yesterday. But they decided that it's going to be only one people today. So last night, we said, game one. And game one because, if you think about it, we left from yesterday afternoon at about 4 o'clock. Expecting for them to, I guess, that's our courtesy, to get back to us and say, well, you know what, if you consider the request you're going to take, but we're moving here. I'm sitting at a general council meeting at 8 o'clock or so, and now everything that they're speaking about is up on Bernadette. I got that. Take it easy. So now, we have a situation now. Let me just remind you about one other thing. In 1981, the country ended up coming to a binding halt because of one issue. One. The issue was about wages for government workers and hospital workers. And it mushroomed from just those workers being out, to more workers being out, to more workers being out, to a general strike of 1981 that this country will never, ever forget. And I certainly hope that if the ODA government is now going to be taking a similar position of the UDP government, then they may be facing the same plight that we faced back in 1981. I certainly hope not. But if it needs to happen that way, then we need to bring it on. Now, just some cleanup issues, because if you are coming out today to do something other than go with us to the House of Assembly, and we certainly hoping that if we all be laid up, we've asked for individuals, if they wanted to, they can meet us here at Union Square, or they can meet us at the House of Assembly. So we want to make sure that we weren't trying to tell people what to do. We gave them a suggestion. But certainly, if you're going to be involved with this protest today, it's going to be done respectfully. Do not be crystal clear. Do not pick a fight with somebody, get in that kind of debate or argument where it's going to cause something else to take place, and now we're going to let things get over here. I'm asking you, please, try to control that. I know at times it may not be easy, but all I'm telling you is that God expecting that we're going to act like a bunch of, excuse the expression, a bunch of crazy people like we don't know what we're doing. So all I'm saying to you is that we're going to leave her and go to the House of Assembly. I think the other thing that I need to tell you is that the BPSU is having a general council meeting as we speak at the BPSU at 9:30. So I'm not sure what they're going to decide in relationship to this protest for today, whether or not they're going to join or not join. The general council will make their decision. Sadly, the way how this is being put over to all the women and people is that you feel, as a result of this Immigration and Protection Act, that the government is truly denying your rights by implementing this bill as a citizen of this country, and you have every right under Section 10 of the Constitution to freedom of assembly, freedom of protest in relationship to that protest. So don't let nobody tell you different, that you're breaking the law because you're off the job today. You're off the job not because, as I said earlier, because of their issue, but because this is a protest in relationship to that bill.